That of course can be the case. But you're still looking at these stories, and lots of people are sharing the same stories, which look like they go back to earlier common sources and so on. And if you know, so if you know this guy over here and he's coming up with a story, and you came up with a different story, and his makes Muhammad look like a complete lunatic, why? Why do you share that case? Why do you share that story? Like, how do these stories end up in their most trusted sources? Very weird stuff.
All right, so I just want to comment on. Oops. I just want to comment on something because I think David Wood he has now. Like look at this. Look at these two clowns. These two clowns are arguing whether the Prophet Muhammad existed or not. Well, I got a big news flash because you can go to Saudi Arabia and you can see the tomb of the Prophet Muhammad. So David Wood wins this one hands down. But so David Wood is saying that the Prophet Muhammad existed, and of course he existed. I mean, there's so much archaeological and historical documents proving he existed. So this is I don't know. This is kind of a pointless topic, but anyways, I want to point out the inconsistency of David Wood. Now he goes to the Hadith and saying, why would people make up these stories about the Prophet Muhammad and they go back to an earlier common source? And that's something I agree with because, I just want to point out the inconsistency because David Wood is relying on the Hadith, right? But at the same time, David Wood rejects that the Prophet Muhammad performed miracles because if you read Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Tirmidhi, Abu Dawood, etc. If you read the Hadith, Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, let's just use those two as examples because those are the most authoritative in Sunni Islam. The Prophet Muhammad performed miracles according to Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, but David Wood will reject that and say, well, that's made up later. But he'll go to these other Hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim to prove Prophet Muhammad did this or did that, etc., etc. So which is it? You can't just pick and choose hadith. Either accept all of it or accept none of it. So you see what David Wood is doing, and he's not the only one. Other people like him do this, where they cherry pick hadith and then they reject other hadith. So when Prophet Muhammad does a miracle, or he performs miracles in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, or he has some kind of supernatural intervention that happens, they reject that hadith. They say that hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim is made up. Yet, when they want to badmouth the Prophet Muhammad, when they want to use hadith to prove whatever argument they're trying to make against Islam, they go to Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. So again, which is it? Is the hadith 100% reliable, or are you going to reject all of it? Are you just going to pick and choose? Are you going to cherry pick hadith you want to use and hadith you want to reject? So this is kind of what people like Robert Spencer, David Wood do, is they cherry pick. When Prophet Muhammad does a miracle, oh no, it's false. When Prophet Muhammad does this and that bad thing that they say, well, that hadith in Sahih Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, it's true. But you see where I'm going with this? David Wood and Robert Spencer are cherry picking hadith. They want certain hadith to be true and they want certain hadith to be false. I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. Either accept all of the hadith in Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim or reject all of it. So I don't care what David Wood does, but it just shows his inconsistency because the man is horribly inconsistent when it comes to handling Islamic sources. He picks and chooses, he cherry picks what he wants to be true, and he cherry picks what he wants to be false from Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. No Muslim scholar, this is why, I don't know, like no Muslim scholar would ever take him seriously when he does something like this. It would be like me going to the New Testament, ripping, cherry picking, oh, Jesus really said this, but Jesus really didn't say that. So I could say, well, Jesus says he has a God in John chapter 20, verse 17. That part is true. But when Jesus is predicting his crucifixion and resurrection in the Gospel of Mark, Matthew, etc., that part is false. So if David Wood wants to play this game with the Hadith, we can play that game with the New Testament too. We can say Jesus said this, but in reality Jesus didn't say that, etc., etc. So this is what David Wood does. He just cherry picks what he wants to be true from the Hadith, and then he rejects what proves him false. He rejects Hadith where Prophet Muhammad performed miracles like splitting the moon, healing people, having rain miraculously fall down, Prophet Muhammad supernaturally multiplying food. He rejects all those miracle hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, but he'll accept, hadith of, I don't know, like Aisha cleaning the clothes of the Prophet Muhammad, et cetera, et cetera. He'll, you know what I mean? Like he'll accept those hadith, but he'll reject the miracle hadith, or the hadith where the Prophet Muhammad performed miracles. So this is what we call cherry picking, and that's why David Wood is horribly inconsistent, and he can't be taken seriously by anybody. Doesn't matter if they're an atheist student of Islam or a Christian student of Islam, or like a Muslim. Like nobody's going to take him seriously when he does this. But this is kind of like what him, Spencer, Shamoon, Islam Critique, I think his name is Colin or whatever. A lot of these people, they do that. They just pick and choose what they want to believe, and they reject what they don't want to believe. Samuel Green does this. Tony Coles. A lot of these Christian apologists, they do stupid shit like this. They accept what they want to accept, and they reject what doesn't fit their propaganda or agenda against Islam. So that's why I say David Wood is inconsistent, and he's cherry picks, and he needs to head back to the psych ward his mom originally put him in, because he's getting more and more annoying, and he's becoming more and more desperate for Muslims' attention. So what do we do when someone gets really, really, really desperate for attention, like David Wood? We start ignoring him, and we start mocking him, which we Muslim apologists already do a lot. Stay tuned, more videos coming up.